Traditionally, there are 5 hindrances: attraction, aversion, dullness, restlessness, and doubt. The experiences of these in actual practice can be teased out more. In MIDL, we have 16 hindrances. And these 16 hindrances are the way that we experience the traditional 5 hindrances sequentially from gross to subtle during mindfulness of breathing. And these 16 hindrances are so precise, so trackable, that we can use them to map our progression in mindfulness of breathing. We can actually use them to map our progression to access concentration. It's very interesting. I'd like to start to talk about hindrances, however, as a path. And in coming weeks, we'll start to take individual hindrances and unpack them, how to recognize them, how to skillfully work with them, both in your seated meditation and in daily life. Let's start off by saying that hindrance refers to being a hindrance to samatha, hindrance to the development or our ability to relax, to calm, to become tranquil. In that way, they're hindrances. Yeah? Hindrances are also hindrances to the enlightenment factors. So they hinder calm and they hinder the enlightenment factors. In regards to vipassana insight, they are not hindrances. Actually, in developing insight, the hindrances are the content of insight meditation practice. They're what we develop insight on. We develop insight on anything that disturbs. This is an important point to understand. To the development of samatha-based calm, there are 5 hindrances. Yeah? To the development of vipassana insight, there's 5 opportunities. Yeah. To understand the relevance that the hindrances have to our meditation path, let's take it to the next stage. For this will refer to the Noble Eightfold Path. And for those of you that come regularly to MIDL classes, you'll be familiar that I'm always referring or regularly referring to the Noble Eightfold Path. Actually, as MIDL meditators, we learn and train to see the different aspects of the path within our meditation practice as a natural unfolding, a natural turning of the wheel. If we look at the Noble Eightfold Path, it can be separated into 3 groups. Yeah? Right view and right intention, they fit in the Panya group. Panya means wisdom. So right view and right intention are in the insight group. Panya is about developing insight in a way that trains the mind to let go. Yeah. Right speech, right action, right livelihood, they rest in the Sila group. And Sila is about training the mind to let go in a way that leads to harmony. So its literal translation is morality. But its only true morality if it leads to harmony within the relationship with ourself, relationship with our family, our friends, society, the world. The third group is the samadhi group. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right unification. So I translate samadhi as unification, and we'll go into depth about that in another talk, why this is so. The samadhi group is concerned with developing calm and clarity of mind. Clarity of mind that allows for insight. As insight meditators, we're dealing with delusion. So it's important to increase the clarity of our awareness as much as we can so we can see through it. If we look at the three parts of this path, we have panya, sila, samadhi. If we look at it as a wheel, the Buddha talked about it as being the wheel of Dhamma, so a wheel that turns and spins. We have panya, sila, samadhi, panya, sila, samadhi, panya, sila, samadhi. So this will make more sense. Let's take the actual experience of this. We have insight, letting go, calm, insight, letting go, calm, insight, letting go, calm, insight, letting go, calm. Can you see that? Yeah? Insight conditions letting go in morality. Letting go in morality creates the conditions for the development of calm. Calm creates the conditions for clarity of awareness for insight. Insight conditions letting go conditions calm, calm conditions insight, and so on. Calm, insight, letting go, calm, insight, letting go. Does that sound like your meditation practice? You're starting to see that? Wonderful. Let's start off with calm. So we sit down to practice mindfulness of breathing. We soften, relax, let it go. We develop mindful presence. We start to be aware of the flow of breath within our body to train our attention and so on. Okay. Now if we look when we sit down for our meditation with the intention to develop samatha-based calm, we have the potential, if we haven't had nibbanic insight yet, we have the potential for all 5 hindrances to arise. And following the MIDL map, which you can find in cultivation number 2 in the menu of the MIDL meditation website of the online course, you can get a print off of the 16 hindrances. These 16 hindrances arise in order in mindfulness of breathing. Yeah. So we have the potential for all 16 to come up when we sit down to meditate. And if we've had a busy day, possibly most of them will come up at the same time. Yeah. Access concentration, the maturity of that samadhi, there's potential for no hindrances. Potential for all the hindrances, potential for no hindrances. So if we look at the development of samatha in a very specific way, we can see that samatha is a path of learning to recognize and calm the meditative hindrances to develop access concentration and then jhana. The hindrances are the path. The hindrances define the path. Yeah. If we look at vipassana insight, what's the content of insight? Well, we're given a meditation object, like mindfulness of breathing. Anything that disturbs our attention on the breath, anything that disturbs our ability to develop the relaxation, the calm, tranquility, is an object of vipassana insight, isn't it? Yeah. So what are these disturbances? Thinking, mind wandering, restlessness, dullness, you're not sure, doubt. Yeah. The content of distraction are hindrances. They're attraction and aversion based. They're dullness based. They're restlessness based. They're doubt based. Samatha, the development of calm, tranquility, follows a path of calming the hindrances. Vipassana, insight, follows a path of developing disenchantment, nibbida, towards the hindrances in a way that leads to their fading. So the Buddha would say, with the fading of passion, yeah, with the fading of this, with the fading of that. To understand fading, fading is like washing your favorite shirt. You wash it again and again, and you notice no difference in the color of your shirt. Then one day after multiple washes, you pick it up and you go, the color's faded. In the same way, if we're developing vipassana insight in the correct way, in a way that weakens the hindrances, we experience a fading of hindrances. That means the hindrances within us gradually become weaker, preparing our mind and heart for nibbanic insight. Yeah. Sila. How does Sila relate to the hindrances? Well, in the development of morality, yeah, anything that disturbs that harmony is a hindrance. Sila is about learning to recognize and let go of the hindrances in daily life. And what enhances that is the development of clarity through samatha and the development of insight and wisdom through vipassana. That tells us where to let go. That tells us what to feed and what not to feed. We need to learn to recognize the kusala, the wholesome, the skillful, and feed that, encouraging it to grow. We need to starve the akusala, the unwholesome, unskillful. Yeah? Create the conditions for it to wither, to fade away. In this way, if we look at the Noble Eightfold Path, Panya, insight, rests on a foundation of taking interest in the hindrances, especially in terms of them being anicca, dukkha, anatta. Yeah? So that means impermanent and unreliable, suffering if we grasp onto them or grab onto them, yeah, and not self, anatta. Anatta, not self, refers to the autonomous nature of things, how they happen by themselves. Yeah? Sila, yeah, rests on a path of sensitivity to the hindrances, so we can recognize kusala and akusala. Yeah? And the samadhi part of the path, samatha, rests on a bed of calming the hindrances. So the Noble Eightfold Path turns by us taking interest in the hindrances in these different ways. The hindrances are like lights on a runway that allow us to find where the middle way rests, where it is. Yeah. So as mentioned before, sometime this year I'll start to do more detailed talks about the different hindrances and how to recognize and work with them. Let's start to take a deeper look at another aspect of the path and see what it has to do with the hindrances. we have 4 levels of nibbanic insight. Satipatthana, stream entry. What is it in regards to the hindrances that defines satipatthana? Anyone? What was that? Doubt? Yes. What defines a satipatthana is the uprooting of the tendency towards doubt from their mind. It doesn't matter what experiences happened before that. Has doubt been uprooted? Yeah. So when I had this experience, my teacher said to me, Stephen, wait 15 years and then you'll know. And the reason for this is life tests us. Life is a pressure cooker. We can delude ourselves into thinking, well, I'm a Sotapanna, I'm a Sakadagami. But life will test us. But we have to be honest and truthful with ourselves. We also have to not intentionally suppress the hindrances through samadhi. Otherwise that delusion, will persist. So with doubt, the uprooting of the last hindrance, attraction, aversion, dullness, restlessness, doubt. Doubt's gone. What defines Sakadagami? The weakening of the first 2 hindrances, attraction and aversion. What defines Anagami? The uprooting of attraction and aversion. So it's no longer the 5 hindrances, it's the 2 hindrances. What defines Arahat in terms of the hindrances? The uprooting of dullness, or the final dullness and restlessness, as delusion is penetrated. In this way, in regards to nibbanic insight, we can see that the hindrances play a crucial part, or insight into the hindrances. If you are observing, taking interest in, being curious about, pulling apart, understanding, especially in terms of idappaccayata, specific conditionality, understanding the conditions for the hindrances to arise and cease, then what you're doing is you're preparing your mind for nibbanic insight. Because the hindrances define all aspects of the path. All aspects of the path in this way. In regards to the hindrances and progress of insight, I'm quite often asked, what is the progress of insight for MIDL? How do I recognize it? For 20 plus years, I practiced intensively in Mahasi. And in Mahasi tradition, we follow Progressive Insight, a book written by Mahasi Sayadaw, and that's quite commonly referred to today. In Mahasi practice, we take anicca, impermanence, as a meditation object. And as we become more refined, we actually see the ending of things and get an experience of no solid ground. With this comes a feeling of free-falling, like walking down a staircase and missing each step. And this gives rise to the experience of fear and dread, a lot of dukkha. This is what comes about by observing experience in this way. It's a valid path. During these days, I'd thrash and fight and struggle within this dukkha, this suffering, until finally it was too much. And when it was too much, I would let go, almost die to that suffering. And then my mind would switch to equanimity. The dukkha would drop away. Yeah, and it would be equanimity in regards to all formations. And this would gradually mature throughout the rest of the retreat. Yeah. If we look at the progress of insight from Mahasi, it's based on observing a set of experiences. Experiences that happen when we structure our attention in a specific way, and when we relate to and observe to distraction in a very specific way. In MIDL, we're not concerned with experience or experiences. What we're concerned with is relationships. And if I understood this in my Mahasi days, I wouldn't have got as stuck in the dukkha jnanas as I did. Yeah. In MIDL, we see all experiences as a movie that's continuously playing. And this is because we relate to everything not through anicca, impermanence, but through anatta, the autonomous nature of things. So regardless of what we're experiencing, yeah, that is not what we use to track our practice. What we do is we observe our relationship to that experience. Just as if you went to a movie theater and you sat in there and you watched a movie. The movie in the screen is doing and playing whatever it wants to play. It is none of your business. You don't get a say in what happens in the movie. Instead, you can sit back and notice your relationship to the characters, relationship to the situations. You feel scared of this situation, you feel attracted to that one, you wish this was you, you don't like this person. All these are relationships to what's happening in the movie. And the same is happening throughout our day and in our seated meditation. In MIDL, we take interest in the 5 relationships. Am I attracted towards what I'm experiencing now? Am I averse towards what I'm experiencing now? Yeah. Am I indifferent to what I'm experiencing now? Indifference in regards to ignoring. Am I content with what I'm experiencing now? Or on a mature level, at the height and maturity of insight and samadhi, am I equanimous to what I'm experiencing now? The 5 relationships: attraction, aversion, indifference, and the wholesome relationships, yeah? Contentment and equanimity, yes. There you go. What's interesting is if we look and observe these relationships, we're again working with the hindrances. Yeah? Attraction, aversion, indifference are part of the hindrances. Yeah, okay. So I've found that if we track relationships, it becomes a very accurate insight map. An insight map that I observe in interviews, in classes. I'm hearing what's being said, but I'm also observing the meditator's relationship towards what they're saying. This is of key importance. Yeah. And I advise on that relationship. So the way the path of insight unfolds based on relationship in MIDL is this. There's 4 levels of progressive insight in MIDL. Very simple model. Calming, fading, non-arising, uprooting. That's pretty simple, isn't it? Calming, fading, non-arising, uprooting. Very simple. You'll notice your skill in calming improve as you practice MIDL, particularly as you learn to soften, relax, to let go. Calming generally refers to the samatha part of the path, your ability to sit down in meditation, practicing mindfulness of body or mindfulness of breathing, and your ability to observe and calm through softening, relaxing, letting go the hindrances when they're present within you. At first, this is difficult. It's difficult to calm restlessness of the body, of the mind, difficult to calm wandering, difficult to calm dullness. You can calm dullness, believe it or not. Difficult to calm attraction, aversion. Difficult to calm thinking, but not impossible. With repeated refinement of skill, with curiosity, with mindful attention, you'll gradually be able to calm the hindrances, all traditional 5 hindrances, and also the list of 16 hindrances in MIDL. As you start to notice, you might come in from daily life, you're a bit stirred up, you sit down, you take some softening breaths, soften, relax, you calm the stress, first hindrance, you calm the physical relaxation by relaxing your body, second hindrance. You calm the mental restlessness by relaxing effort in your mind, third hindrance. You develop a mindful presence. As the mindfulness gets stronger, the fourth hindrance, habitual forgetting, gets weaker. And as that mindful presence grows into joyful presence, the gross wandering, the mind wandering all over the place, also starts to calm, settle down, and so on. So this is how you can notice your progress in MIDL. Your ability to soften, relax, to calm the hindrances, calm something comes up in your life. And this also includes the calming of anger or frustration or loneliness in your daily life. You'll see this is a progression between a beginning meditator and a meditator that's developing skill in MIDL. Calming, fading. I referred to fading before as a fading of colour in cloth, but we also talk about this as the fading of the intensity and strength of the hindrances. Fading is the second level in progression of insight. This is when you're able to recognize the hindrances in the way the Buddha prescribed, recognizing when the hindrance is present within you, recognizing the conditions for that hindrance to arise, recognizing the conditions for that hindrance to cease, and then you're able to apply the conditions for that hindrance to cease. You can find that reference in the Satipatthana Sutta. When you can understand that, and you observe the hindrances in regards to anicca, dukkha, anatta, and apply that formula, your mind will start to develop disenchantment, and it will begin to let the hindrances go. That means the focus of your attention will go off them, and they'll no longer be fed. Now, habitually, the hindrances, are fed by your mind. Your mind grabs onto that attraction, onto that aversion, onto the dullness or restlessness or doubt. And it uses Vedana, pleasant or unpleasant feeling, to make you follow that grasping to feed it. But with the Goss formula, ground, observe, we notice the grasping, the effort in it, soften. We soften, relax the focus of our attention, pleasure of letting go, smile into, enjoy the presence in our body, regrounding again. In 2 videos before, or 2 classes before, we actually talked in that Dhamma talk, we talked about the Goss formula in detail if you're interested. So 2 recordings back, before this one. Okay. So with this, we start to notice a fading, and how you'll notice fading is you'll be in situations in your daily life where you would normally react, and you find the reaction comes up, but it's much weaker than it was before. It started to fade. It's become weaker, and it lasts for a shorter time. This fading is a sliding scale, and you'll see it gradually come down and down until when the hindrance comes up, it's just so weak within you, you don't even feel like reacting to it. And this especially comes from the insight combined with the softening, smiling, rewarding your mind for letting go part. So check that hindrance list. Can I calm these hindrances? Are these hindrances faded within me? And you can pressure test yourself in daily life by, within morality, exposing yourself to situations you're not comfortable with. Maybe public speaking, maybe ordering a meal at a restaurant that you don't enjoy, you don't like. See what happens. Yeah, very interesting, wonderful. Calming, fading, non-arising. As a process of fading through combination of development of calm and samatha and vipassana insight, particularly into anatta, develops, you'll find you'll get to a stage where some hindrances won't arise, even in daily life. This is likened to removing the leaves, the branches, and the trunk from a tree, so still just the roots in the ground. This comes from an understanding of idappaccayata, specific conditionality. Understanding that for things to grow requires very specific, precise conditions. And for things to cease, it requires very specific, precise conditions. So when the meditator understands that, they can create the conditions for the hindrance not to arise. Yeah, it just doesn't come up, it just doesn't trigger. Now in this progressive insight here, because that relationship no longer comes up in that hindrance, we have to be careful we don't delude ourselves into thinking we're an arahat and thinking we're fully enlightened just because those hindrances aren't coming up. Those hindrances can be suppressed with samadhi, and just because insight has brought that hindrance down and made it weak, given a change in conditions in life, and life's really good at changing conditions, that hindrance can regrow again. And over the years, I noticed I'd get a hindrance really down and weak, and then suddenly one weekend or whatever, I was following old patterns again and literally practicing and strengthening it back up again. It's like, what are you doing? Yeah, I found myself doing that. But that's an advantage too. We keep falling into the same pattern again and again. We notice this is not where I want to go, and we soften, relax, let that go. Eventually we become disenchanted and we don't practice it anymore. Yeah, uprooting. Uprooting can only happen 4 times. Uprooting refers to nibbanic insight. Yeah, the uprooting of all the hindrances, as we ran through earlier. It's satipatthana, sakadagami, anagami, arahat. Yeah? Calming, fading, not arising, uprooting. And for this progressive insight to be accurate, we need to be truthful with ourselves. We need to be open to feedback from others. Yeah? And we can observe these relationships in others. We can observe them. You can watch them. Watch how they live. But also, most importantly, be honest and watch how you live. In this way, we see the hindrances can be found in all aspects of the Noble Eightfold Path, in the 4 nibbanic insights, And the hindrances are also found in the progression of insight in MIDL as an observation of relationship. Yeah. So in this way I say, hindrances are not hindrances. They're opportunities. Make friends with them. Get to know them well. Yeah. They are the path.